Gestapo is that J.D. Sumner is among the Memphis Gestapo also.
It's good to be here. I could tell some stories that not as good as Sylvia, but I spent many hours with Elvis. In those kind of moments, but I can't tell serious stuff. If I do, I cry like a titty baby. And,
that's okay.
So I have to tell something else. They said, Mr. Ed Hill here, after Al was born, left, well, Ed was the man that said, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. Mr. Ed Hill, stand up, Ed. And the young man sitting next to Ed is our keyboard technician, and a fine young man, Jerry Kelso, stand up, Ed. And then next in line is our tenor singer, and he's a hound, but he's a heck of a tenor singer.
Yes, so.
Rick Strickland, stand up, please. And somebody spoke about Eddie. Ed couldn't be here. He had woke up this morning and he had morning sickness. He got pregnant last night. When Gordon said Elvis said something about beating the crap out of somebody or something like that, well, he was just replacing that word with something else. And Ray said, I wonder if you have a place in your group for me after Jordan says that. We'll put you on tenor, Ray, so don't worry about it. I only know one story that I haven't told, and I don't think there's any kids here that's be young enough not to hear a word or two of some of the things that happened with me with Elvis. When Elvis learned about the tragedy in his life of losing Priscilla, Elvis told me that that was the only thing he ever wanted in life that he couldn't have was Priscilla. That's after it happened. But one night when he learned that, well, I don't know whether you people are married or not, but if you still learn that about your wife or your husband, well, it's not a real happy thing. And Elvis sort of got upset, and he wanted to have a contract put out on the other man's life, and he really did. I mean, Mike Stone or Stone Mike or whatever his name was, and nobody would do that for Elvis. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, Joe Esposito called me and said, "JD, get up here and see if you can do anything with Elvis." And I put on my pants. I was almost sober, but I wasn't quite. But I put on my pants and run upstairs without a shirt or shoes on. And Joe was standing on the outside the room. He said, "Go in and see if you can talk to him." So I went in and I said, "What's wrong, pal?" And he told me. And he said, "I'm going to kill the SOB." I said, "Well, give me your gun and call your pilot and tell me where he lives, and in the morning he'll be dead. And he looked at me with those real dark eyes, and I said, seriously, give me your gun and call Milo and tell me where he lives. In the morning he'll be dead. And of course, I was lying. I wouldn't kill a fly. But I don't even know why I said that. But then he said, no, J.D., I don't want you getting in trouble. I said, no, seriously, I'll take Eddie. And get Milo and tell me where he lives. And honestly, in the morning he'll be dead. He said, no, I don't want you in trouble. I said, well, Elvis, there's only one that can help us in a time like this, and that's God. And trust me, I'm not a prayer warrior. I don't know how to pray. I said, Elvis could be our prayer. And he almost said no with those dark eyes. I don't know if you ever seen him look at you when he was mad with those eyes of his. But he had two mean eyes. And he said, well, okay. I said, would you do me one more favor? And I said, would you let me bring the boys in? And he looked at me again. He almost said no again. He said, well, okay, bring them in. And let me repeat again, I don't know how to pray. But all these fancy prayers that some people pray, I just don't know how to do that. And everybody come in. And Elvis was on one side of the bed. I was on the other. And we all knelt down, and I reached over and got Elvis's hand. I said, everybody hold hand around the bed, which they all did. And Joe and Charlie, Red and Sonny, and well, everybody was there. And I prayed, and it was a very poor prayer. Didn't know how to pray, only asking God to help us. And when I got through praying, Elvis got up and said, fellas, I believe I can go to sleep. And kissed us, told us all good night. And went to sleep. The next morning, Joe called me upstairs again. And he said, J.D., come on back up here. Said Elvis wants to send Mike Stone a TCB. A few hours before then, he wanted to kill him, and then the next morning, he wanted to make him a member of our family. So I went back up and I said, Elvis, it's okay to forgive him, but for God's sake, don't make him a member of the family. So that's the way that Elvis was. I mean, Elvis was the sweetest, best man in the world until he got mad. And I can rest assured that he was the meanest man in the world. And but when he had time to think it over, and like most of us will, he changed his mind, and that's a true story. And I want to tell the rest of it and ask those that might be offended to forgive me. But I knew the real Elvis, and after Elvis was raised like me, he was raised in a Pentecostal church where they have divine healing. It's a very prominent thing in the Pentecostal church. I was raised in the same church that Elvis was. And we've seen people lay hands on people and pray for them. And it's a reality. I've seen people healed just like Sylvia was. But Jerry Schilling, they got back to Hollywood where Elvis had a home, and Jerry Schilling had a bad back. And he remembered the prayer that we had in Las Vegas. It was right after then. So he told Jerry Schilling to lay down on the bed and on his stomach, and Elvis was going to pray for it. And so he called everybody in, like I did, and he had everybody to kneel down and hold hands around the bed. And Elvis proceeded to pray for Jerry Schilling. And I'm not in any way making fun of what Sylvia told you. But back when I was a kid and you prayed for people in those Pentecostal churches, and I believe in it, they would say in the name of Jesus, I cast out the devil, or in the name of Jesus. That's the way you pray. And Elvis remembered that. So he had his hand on Jerry Schilling's back. And he prayed, and I don't imagine his prayer was too good either, but he prayed, and when he got, and Jerry Schilling had a bad back, and when he got to that part, he said, in the name of Jesus, I say, come out of there, you son of a bitch. I never knew a better man, a more compassionate man. I think he was the greatest humanitarian that I've ever known, and I believe there's ever been. Elvis tried to supply every need that he knew about. If he learned that somebody needed something, tried to give it to him. He tried to give me an airplane. He was going to pay $450,000 for an airplane. He said, you've been riding in them buses until your face looks like a lawnmower got hung up in it. And I said, Elvis, I couldn't even afford to park it, much less have a pilot and a co-pilot and a navigator, which I would have had to have had. And he tried to give me many things. He tried to buy me a home here in Memphis. And he did give me many things. He gave me rings, gave me 11 rings, and a watch, and a limousine, and gave me a lot of things. But the greatest thing he gave me was his friendship.